This is my first tour of my garden since moving back to this property and starting gardening again. I had been doing travel nursing, and then I just decided I needed to move back home to be closer to my parents. And then literally a year later we found out my mom had cancer through her whole body, so she passed away in January. But I haven't been at this property to go gardening for like 3 or 4 years. I'd given up fish. I'd given up gardening. And my little cilantro herb. Yeah, I've been doing travel nursing. But now since I'm back here, I've expanded the garden. I really like these jewel ones, but they're $5 a piece. So if you count each level, I'm not even sure. I'd have to do math, and I'm not mathing this early in the morning, but I love these yellow towers from Greenstock. But yeah, I love these bigger ones, and they were more filled out, but they're $5 a piece. So if I'd done the whole thing in these extra ones like this, it would have been pretty expensive. So I put them in as pops of color in places, like that one there. I have a couple dahlias up here, which are cheating because they came in bloom. I'm finding cilantro sprouted there, so I guess seeds from last year. So I need to do some weeding, but I got little patches of cilantro and then some lettuce for fresh picking back there. I think these are wave petunias too, but they're so pretty. The edging on them. I wish I knew how to collect petunia seeds, but I'm terrible at it. And then this hanging thing. I gotta get out and fertilize with some fertilizing water again. 2 more dahlias in there, and then a calla lily that's not looking that great. I don't even know what that is back there, but wave petunias are just some of the prettiest things. Coming around here, I planted a rose. It's awfully shaded around here, so I don't know how it's gonna do. And then I have some herbs, lemon balm I need to get in the ground. That's catmint. A couple of dahlias. These are my hydrangeas I planted a while back, and I thought they died and weren't coming back. And now they seem to be coming back, but I don't know how big they're actually going to get or how many flowers they're going to get. This is my chocolate mint. Hands down my favorite mint. Chef Jeff chocolate mint. This one being down the hill is probably the driest and doing the worst. So I need to give that one some extra special attention and fertilizer. And then coming around here, my leaf pile for mulching. This is half of my grandmother's rhubarb. The same crowns. These crowns are 70 years old. I split out 2 from that side where I shoved those chives last year and divided them up. And in the next year or 2, I hope to split these ones up into more beds. And this is my salad. I'm finding that these thicker leaved ones are still tasting good, but the ruffly lettuce, like this ruffly lettuce, is already bitter. But we haven't had rain in days, and I don't water up here very well. So, setting up the pond to get the fish out finally. I am trying with chickens again. So we have 16 in here and 6 on the inside. So starting up top, my dill that's already trying to flower because it's been so hot and dry. Gotta take care of that. I have some sage and rosemary. I didn't think thyme was a perennial here in Wisconsin, but this is a pizza thyme and like a lemon variegated thyme, and they both came back. I mean, this pizza thyme is huge. And then this is oregano that kind of came back, but it doesn't have much of a smell, so I did buy a couple of new oregano starts. And then this chive bed is my chives that have been on this property for years. We've owned this property since like 1990, and I've just been gathering up some of the little ones and plugging them in there. And then this is some basil and chamomile. And then up here, I did have to move all of my blueberries that had been in wood whiskey barrels because the deer, no matter what I do, the deer kept jumping in and chewing them up. And so this year I dug them all out. Some of them are pretty pathetic, and moved them up here with acid fertilizer and trying to get them to start thriving. And then I have more green stalks, and I realized that I ordered some that were deep pocket, I think, and some that were like regular, or there's like 2 different colored greens I have, and that's why they weren't clicking together, and I had some fall over because they weren't stable. So I'm going through planting beans in them or strawberries and trying to match up the colors appropriately. These are some lunchbox peppers I bought. I didn't actually start these, I bought them. So I gotta get out here and mulch these ones. And then that is a new apple tree. My lilac's kind of spent, but I put an apple tree in there. That's my apple tree there. And then I actually plugged in another apple tree to try and hold onto the hillside there. But yeah, these are my blueberries I've had for a couple of years, and every year they were chewed down. Every year the deer got through the fence somehow. Last year we went 10 foot tall to keep them out. Some tomatoes, some sad, some not. That one was in a pot far too long without enough light. We'll see if it recovers. I'm rehydrating my bags by soaking them. So this is my tomato row. I've got pineapple, Rutgers, a couple that I bought. A lot, I had poor germination because I didn't heat my starts enough. I did my peppers, but I didn't with my tomatoes in, so I did not have good germination. I bought 3 pear trees, which is funny because I don't even eat pears, but this is my potting shed. We won't look in there because that's just a bunch of shit. But yeah, I got 3 pear trees, even though I don't eat pears. But it's about what you can give to people, you know, around here. And then these are some dahlias I bought to replace the pots where my blueberries had been. These are dahlias. I need to weed this, but these are actually self-seeded calendula. I did plant some zinnia along the edge there, but these are all self-seeded calendula, and I'm running out of space. Like, I just don't know where to dig them up and move them to right now, but I need to get in here, mulch, weed this, and transfer some out. These dahlias are looking a little sad already, but they're in new dirt and pots now. There's a couple little Baby calendula in there I could probably let go. The other one is just too thickly seeded. And then again, zinnias along the edge. I watered this morning and it just knocked the petals off. I pre-start my dahlias in pots. This year I ordered some, and this is the first year I'm going to try and dig them up and store them. Again, zinnia, and these are some later starts I bought. These ones in the green bag are all my cherry tomato varieties. So that one's right at the edge of the sprinkler, not getting much water. These are the 2 crowns that I split up last year, and I honestly, they're so big I probably could have harvested. You know, I heard that once you split them up, you shouldn't harvest them for a while, but I mean, I absolutely, these things were so tiny last year, but these stalks, I absolutely could have harvested, even though this is the first, like, established year they've been in this. And then this bed really needs weeding, and it was so warm that my asparagus was already sprouted by the time I came down here, so I got a couple of sprigs for fresh eating, but I need to fertilize this at the end of the year, and I really need to get in here and weed. This one is awful. This one just has regular big weeds. Not too bad for the grass, but again, I really need to take care of these beds and add in some fertilizer. This is the only bed of the set I haven't gotten filled. This is potatoes, but it has, I bought a Dollar Tree bag of kidney beans last year and planted some, and then I got sick with a kidney stone, and then my mom got sick with cancer, so I didn't have time to harvest any. So I pulled out as many as I could to compost, but of course there's some left in here, and they're sprouting in amongst the potatoes. These are all zinnias with, like, I have squash plugged in all over the place because I didn't know where else to put it. But yeah, these are zinnias. A random tomato I'm going to try and grow up that trellis. More squash and zinnias, and then I have 4 sauce tomatoes. I don't even have them fastened up. I don't even know what to fasten them up with. I would like to try canning this year. So, and here I've got some sugar baby watermelon, some tiger melon. I just topped this bed and finally put the seeds in. And then here's like delicata squash and 2 other kinds of squash in for this trellis. I haven't seen any sign of this as a melon. These tiger melons are just finally popping up. So apparently I planted tiger melon twice. But those are some pretty old seeds from 2021. So I don't see any sign of those yet. Over here I have a couple of pre-started squash. And then these were brand new seeds, so I should not have been so generous with sowing them, but I was in a hurry. And so those are all Kajari melons and a type of cantaloupe. So I'm going to definitely have to thin them. And I can tell that these 2 seeds are not the same. So I don't know what I planted last year, but obviously either something like, I think I had squash here. I'd have to look back, because I wasn't here. But no, I wasn't here. What had it been the year before? I'd have to think. I think I was here doing some gardening, but I wasn't staying back here until October of 2024. So summer of 2025, I did do some gardening, but not much. But that's obviously a seed from something else in the corner there. So, but I mean, how are you gonna discount free plants, basically? And then I planted a couple of pumpkins, bigger growing pumpkins in here. This is a bed I'm working on topping off. That's calendula that free sowed from somewhere. It's been so hot, I did not have very good germination on carrots. Very sporadic, even though I watered like every day. So I've got some carrots in here. I've got, I think, some little finger carrots and a crookneck squash. Those are crookneck squash coming up. And then here, well shit, where'd my label go? I think that's watermelon, not doing too good there. And then I don't know if those were more crookneck or if those were zucchini, because my label seems to have disappeared. And then here is another bean and potato mix. So more sporadic, very sparse carrots. There's finally I think that might be a patty pan popping up. Yeah. Carrot sprouting sparse. Then this is my onion bed, which I bought sets, as you can see, because the bags are still there. This is my bunching onions, and I feel like those are bunching onions, but they're really big. But those are second year. They're bulbing. Those have been here since last year. They survived the winter and came back. And then I did plant yellow patty pan, I think, in the middle. I think, but it hasn't sprouted yet. Another random squash. More zinnias, because I absolutely love cutting flower bouquets for the hospital and for patients and for my neighbors. That is lemon balm. Did I buy lemon balm twice? I must have bought lemon balm twice. So these are some Anaheim peppers. A flower I pretty much killed, and another squash. It's the back of my front beds with my dahlias and zinnias. I did sow a couple marigold patches in the front of this one. And then this is, I think, a strawberry mint. Smells really pretty. So peppers. Are these my shishitos? These might be my shishitos. And then I had some Jimmy Nardellos somewhere. I don't think I have anything in the middle of this bed though. These are my Anaheim peppers. That last one isn't doing too well. Some carrots. I probably oversowed this bed because I have some kind of something sprouting there. What is it? Melon. A melon sprouting there to grow up this little trellis. I have some kind of squash in the middle there. Black Beauty zucchini. I have carrots sowed in the middle under there. And then I have Anaheim peppers at the front. So probably a little bit too much, but I thought I made a nice big garden and then I still ran out of room. So I did sow just yesterday lemon basil along this edge. This is some small katana melons that I shocked them, and I don't think they've even done anything in like 2 or 3 weeks now. In the middle I have some black beauty zucchini that have not sprouted, and then more carrots that are sparsely popping up. This bed is all broccoli with some more squash that I propagated in the back that I'm going to let grow out. This whole edge here, I'm working on clearing my property of all the brush to give me a little bit more gardening space. We had some old busted trees chopped down. I gotta come through and get rid of all these little ones, but this is a whole row of raspberries, and I might move them, like they go all the way from here down. Wild grown in ones and some starts that I bought. So if I can relocate them, then I can push my garden back to there, because my property goes way over here and there's a bunch of trees that are knocked down that I can clear up that way. But for now, I have no place to put cabbage, no place to put cauliflower. I sowed a whole bunch of broccoli and flowers. So this is broccoli, and then I started some cauliflower and cabbage, or maybe this is 2 types of cabbage. And I don't have any place to thin them out and put them. I can put a few in here, but not many, considering how many germinated. So that's a problem. In here I have some more dahlias I ordered. Some fancier ones from Eden Brother, like Labyrinth and I think Noel or something like that. And they did not come very good, I'm going to tell you. There was one good full one that had sprouts, and then the rest of them looked like busted off pieces. Nothing was pre-started or germinated on them. Yeah, there was one nice big good one, and the other ones did not look great. But we'll see what happens. So this is more broccoli, and then I don't know what got planted here last year. I feel like, I don't know, but all these seeds on the edge here are sprouted from something. I don't know if I had a different type of cucumber growing here or what, but we'll see what happens. I'm not going to pull all of them out. I'll probably have to thin out this corner here, but I might be able to feed those ones up the side of the trellis. And the rest of this is more broccoli. These were rattlesnake beans that reseeded. So I have a little bald patch there. Maybe I can plug in a melon there or something. But those are rattlesnake beans that reseeded. And then these are silver slicers, which are really good. And then these look like beans too. They look like beans. They're thick stemmed, coming up. I feel like I planted some purple beans at one point. So maybe it was a self seed. But again, if I can, I might as well just let them grow. See if I can sneak them up just this edge of the trellis. And then I'll have several silver slicers in here. These are the Armenian white cucumbers, which I know they get pretty big, but the nice thing is they taste, they don't get bitter, that I remember, but they get pretty big. So, and here there's my earlier started broccoli and my peas. This is my dill I've pretty much killed. I had it in the back far too long underneath no lights. And some spinach I sowed. That one I might be able to get to bounce back, but I think that one's pretty much dead. My peas I gotta tie up. I planted little jack pumpkins that I like for decorating, and I bought, because mine didn't germinate, 2 cucamelons. So we'll see how they do. That one is at least growing and starting to grow up the trellis. This one we'll see. They were pretty damaged and icky looking when I bought them. And we'll see. I haven't seen any germination from these. So And starting on this backside here is just where I sowed cabbages that I don't have room for. These are all bell peppers. I'm foregoing the bags because they just dried out too fast. Even for peppers, they just dried out too fast. So I went basically mostly with just raised beds, which if I would have kept my bags and put all my peppers in bags, I would have had more room for cabbages. So, but so that's the garden. And then what else did I plant over here? I have, oh, I don't know if they'll make it. This is my second time trying plums. I bought 3 pear, 2 more apple, and 2 plum trees. So we'll see how that goes. But these are just composting bins for now. Eventually they're going to be where I put flowers along the edge of the garden. I've got 3 more of these. And then I'll get hanging flowers like borage, nasturtiums, things like that. Bring in more bees.